We should be live, I believe. Yep, we are live. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning. Hopefully the mic is synced up by now. I forgot to plug it back in here. It is Wednesday, January 21st, and we've got some exciting things to talk about today. A lot of movement going on in the markets. There's a lot of whiplash. It goes up, it goes down. Right now, as we live and breathe, the market is actually on quite a rally. It's been up about 1% since about 10 a.m. when I got back from the gym. I saw it starting to move, and by the time I hit the stream button, we're up almost 2% on XRP. So it's going to be an exciting day. We're going to see how things shake out. I have some theories that certain things might be happening as we live and breathe. We'll talk about it in today's stream. For now, I'm going to say good morning to those of you that have hopped in. Good morning, Jim. If you're joining the stream for the first time, I stream daily, Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And what we do is we start the stream off with a wellness check. We look at all of the different things moving in the crypto market. We also look at silver and gold as a reference point. We check the Japanese bond market specifically, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then we also took a look at the overall general U.S. stock market. All of these things are interrelated, and it helps us paint the overall picture. Obviously, on this channel, the goal is for XRP to go up to the moon. So we're analyzing all of the things that could be going on with that, but then we also take a look at some of our other favorite tokens here in the cryptocurrency space. So good morning, Vector. I'm going to jump straight into the market recap for now, and then as more people hop in, we'll do some more engagement with the chat. So I'm going to get my screen up here in just a second, and we will get straight to it. So here we go, and there we go. We should be good. So interesting things have been happening. I have a feeling that the U.S. stock market did some rotation that actually went into crypto. So crypto's moving at a pretty decent rate this morning. Just looking at some of the industry leaders, you know, XRP's, whoa, did it actually go down since I hit the record? Okay, there we go. This is more what I was seeing. We are moving potentially back up to a $2 XRP. It could happen today. What we're looking at here, right here on the chart, is just within the past about hour and a half. So roughly around 9 a.m. Eastern time is when XRP started to move very aggressively. It's not just XRP that's moving. It's most of the entire market. So even other coins like Solana, we see that Solana's moving. Ethereum is also moving. What I thought was interesting is that Bitcoin actually looks slightly different. It's moving a little bit, but not quite like the other ones are. You can see Bitcoin is still in the red over a 24-hour period, where just about everything else is in the green. I guess Ethereum's also in the red, but in general, a majority of these coins, like let's look at Cardano. You know, like Cardano's up about 0.5%. XRP and HBAR seem to be up the most. XRP's up around 2%. And HBAR, I believe the last time I checked it before I started the stream, up about 4%. So it looks like it may have dropped just a tiny bit. Either that or the 24-hour chart has kind of caught up to it. If we drag this back, we can see that around 1050 there was a dip yesterday. So you know, I'm looking at a 24-hour chart. Just before I hit the go live button, HBAR was close to 4%. I think that might be the highest out of all of our favorite tokens. Now it's a little tricky on CoinMarketCap to look at the biggest gainers because there's always meme coins on there, so it's not exactly the most useful tool. I'm not necessarily interested in a meme coin with a market cap of like $50,000 that went up, you know, 20,000x. You look at those things and you're like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But then you look at the market cap and realize that somebody started a coin, dumped money in it, and sure, of course, you go from, you know, a $5,000 token or like a $5,000 market cap on a token to 50 grand, you're going to be seeing that 10x. But in reality, it's actually not that big of a deal. But those ratios do end up on these leaderboard charts, and that's basically why the leaderboard chart isn't very useful to use. So just wanted to cover that one off. I see some more of you joining the chat. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Desire, and good morning, Pat. Glad to see you guys all jump in. Had some pretty interesting stuff going on in the past 24 hours. I wonder if the reverse carry trade is actually starting to happen in real time. I've noticed that the Japanese government bond has actually sharply corrected itself overnight. You know, just last night we came out with a video showing that the Japanese 10-year bond hit an all-time high. I believe for a very brief period it did cross into 2.4. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. It got very close though. The highest that it got was 2.38, which looks like it was around 3:30 UTC yesterday. It's kind of corrected a little bit, not too much, but it's right now floating around that 2.3. I'm wondering if there's some things happening in the back end that might reveal to us that the reverse carry trade is actually starting to unwind. And here's some reasons that I've come up with that theory. I'm going to pull up the S&P 500 total chart. We'll see that on Friday it closed at 6,900. This is the S&P 500 index. We had a U.S. holiday on Monday, so you have to realize it went straight from Friday to Tuesday. If you could look at this chart, it might be a little small for you guys, but this indicator right here does go from Friday to Tuesday, and that makes me wonder, you know, those of us here in the United States know when you sell a stock, it usually doesn't actually leave your portfolio into your settlement fund until after the day is over. You might have a credit on your account, but you don't actually have that money yet. That would be true for large institutions as well. So I'm wondering, was this sell-off an event that was going to rotate into XRP? Not saying that's exactly what's happening, but it's something that I'm following. I want to see if that ends up playing out. Because if it did, it might mean that this little value right here dropping off, I think the total market loss was around $1 trillion for the S&P 500. I'd have to double check on that, but I think it was in that range. If that was being moved over into XRP to initiate the reverse carry trade, assuming it takes about 3 days for full settlement, we might see, and again, tinfoil hat, you guys, this isn't me saying it's going to happen, but maybe on Thursday or maybe on Friday, we could see a major spike in XRP's price. That would be if, and let me drag the screen just a little bit so that number's not so cut off. If my prediction, or I would say at this point it's a curiosity. If my curiosities are confirmed, this Tuesday's sell-off could turn into an XRP injection by the end of the week. And so this is something I'm going to be watching from now until the end of the week to see if this actually comes true. Because it's just a theory that I've been sitting on, and part of it has to factor in that the Japanese bond has actually gone down about 10 basis points overnight. And if you don't know what a basis point is, that's 1/100th of a percent. So 10 basis points would be 0.01. For those of you that may not be familiar with that language, I'm going to check over here on the chat and see what's going on with you guys. Now we got some more people jumping in. Good morning, Rated. Good morning, Steph. Good morning, Josh. Steph says, sorry I'm late. Hi, everyone. I'm guessing President Trump at Davos might be on the agenda today. I'm definitely going to be looking at that. I might not do too much live coverage at Davos, since I want to make sure everything I'm talking about is relevant and consistent with what's going on in the crypto space. Some of the Davos stuff might be like loosely related, but not entirely related. But over the weekend, I'm going to, kind of rip YouTube and Twitter apart and see which snippets can we talk about on this channel that cover Davos? It's a week-long event, so it goes until the 23rd. I think one way or another, we're going to at least hear some hopefully exciting news coming out of Davos. If nothing else, it's going to be news that we can report on. So I'll definitely be doing some coverage of that. Josh says, Andrew was able to scoop up some XRP around $1.80. That's awesome. I believe the bottom is in now. I agree with that as well. I try not to necessarily reveal how much I'm buying, but I did buy some XRP this week as well. I also did buy Flare. I missed Flare. Oh, I feel bad saying this, but I got greedy. I know this is just vanity stuff. It doesn't really matter, but I was really trying to buy in at this little dip right here, but my sell order, I sold a stock in order to be able to make this purchase, and it didn't hit my settlement account in time. So I ended up just paying cash for it, but I got in like right here, so I just barely missed the under a penny mark. Not that it really matters. It's maybe I missed out on like 20 Flare tokens, which is negligible, but kind of from like a vanity or ego point of view, I was not able to lock in a buy order at under a penny. Instead, I locked in at like almost exactly a penny. I think I locked in somewhere around here. I bought it as soon as I woke up. Somewhere around like a penny .001. It doesn't actually matter, but I did think that was funny. Hey, Russian, glad that you joined the membership. I appreciate that. I hope you guys know that when you do join the membership program, you help me keep this channel sustainable. You know, I've told this story a few times, but for those of you that might be new, I got laid off last April, and I very quickly got a 6-month contract and gig, but it wasn't a long-term thing. I always knew that was going to end. So during that contract, you know, I started buying cameras. I started buying equipment so that when the contract was over, I could just jump straight into YouTube. And that happened around November. So you'll notice if you look at my post history, my first video was, I think, mid-November. That was literally the day after my contract ended. And I've been doing full-time YouTube since then. So things have come a long way. I revived this channel from a failed fitness channel that maybe got up to 1,500 subscribers, somewhere around there. And then I let it lie dormant for a while, like a year at least, maybe a year and a half. Brought it back from the dead, went from 1.5 to now we're at 7,000 subscribers in just 2 months. So things are really moving fast. It's been awesome. One thing I do want to see, I want to get a temperature check from you guys because I have started to get emails from different companies that want me to do ad reads. I want to know, what do you guys think about that? Because I do definitely recognize that a lot of people like the content I've been making because it's literally just the content. There's no products, there's no commercials. I guess maybe you guys have to watch ads, but aside from like the ads that YouTube throws in my videos, it's basically just been, you know, straight content. And that's ideally what I like doing. But I don't want to come on here and be dishonest with you guys and say that I don't have a price. You know what I mean? If a company wants me to advertise, for example, let's just say Amazon wants me to do an Audible ad read. If they put a figure in front of me that's hard to say no to, I'm probably going to take it. But I want to see how you guys feel about it, because I care that you guys are getting a good experience out of this. So let me know what you guys think. I've got some coals in the fire. Nothing's official yet, but you know, there are some back end conversations going on. Okay, I appreciate that you guys feel that way. There's been a few different groups I've been emailing back and forth with. Oddly enough, one of them is Flare. I'm not sure if that one's going to necessarily turn into a sponsorship, but I don't know what their plan is. But it does look like they're trying to do some sort of content creator outreach. So keeping that stuff as open-minded as I can. And then the content, aside from the ad read, it's all going to be the same stuff. I've said before, I don't ever want to hide information behind a paywall. So even though you guys are joining the membership, it's not like I'm going to give you guys stuff that no one else is allowed to see. I don't like when channels do that. And so no matter what happens, as I try to flesh out how to monetize this channel, I want the information to be freely available to 100% of the people that find this channel. I think that's a commitment that I can stick to. Maybe I do an ad read for some electric shavers. Some of you guys probably know what I'm talking about. If it helps, pay the bills, you got to do what you got to do. But never want to be hiding info on you guys. Looks like we're up to 40 in the chat. I want to see how many likes do we have. We're only at 15. If you guys could just help me bump that up to 20, that'll help this live stream get spread to more people that are just browsing YouTube, and that'll get us more people in here. Exactly. I didn't want to say it out loud, Vector, but that is 100% who it was. They haven't reached out to me. I'm just saying every YouTuber eventually does an ad for those guys. Which means there's a chance maybe someday I do too. Getting back to the crypto stuff, because I know that's what we're all here for. I did buy my Flare. I did buy my XRP. Now, the way I did it was very specific. So there's no Flare ETF. I bought the actual tokens. I'm, by the way, working on a video that'll come out February 1st. I wanted to wait till the last Flare drop went out before I do my... I'll talk about that in a second. But I bought the physical... Well, I guess they're not really physical, but you guys get what I mean. I bought the tokens themselves. Now, when it came to XRP, I did not buy the tokens. I bought the ETF, and the reason for that is very, very simple. So I have, everyone has an IRA, or at least here in America. You've got your traditional IRAs, you got your Roth IRAs, maybe even have like HSAs, and that would be your health savings account. I was running the numbers on it, and if I wanted to, buy a large amount of XRP, you've either got to liquidate your brokerage account in order to do so, or you have to have the cash on hand. You guys, you don't go from a 360 XRP down to $1.80 without buying the dip basically every step of the way. So I have to imagine a lot of us here are probably pretty cash poor if we're being honest with each other. So I was making small liquidations in my brokerage account all the way down until those ETFs released. When the ETFs went live, I started to think about it, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't need to be paying capital gains tax on my brokerage when I've got this Roth IRA that's holding the same funds. It's still an S&P 500 tracker, but I could swap that Roth IRA account for the XRP ETF, pay no capital gains, there's no tax penalties on that swap, and then you're good to go. You got XRP in your Roth IRA so that you actually will never pay taxes on it, period. And we know that there might be some, capital gains getting removed out of crypto. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but the one thing we know is absolutely certain, that Roth IRA is like carved into stone. There is no capital gains or income tax, by the way, on a Roth IRA. So I have absolutely been stacking hard in my Roth IRA for XRP. I don't want to necessarily give away the personal details. I'm not too comfortable with that, but what I can say is that I've definitely got skin in the game, and if this thing happens that we all think is going to happen, let's just say I'm ready for it. And that's basically how I've been doing it. Now, some people in my comment section have been saying, like, well, are you trying to tell us to buy XRP, or are you trying to tell us to buy Flare? Well, this morning I did both. And I think we can walk and chew gum. It's not like this or that type situation. So I would still say probably prioritize XRP. If you're not satisfied with what your target goal is, if you haven't met your target goal, probably focus on XRP. I've met my target goal in XRP a few times. You guys probably know once you hit it, you say, all right, well, let's see if we can double it, right? Like first thing you want to do is get to 1,000 XRP, and then you say, well, now let's get to 5, then let's get to 10, then let's get to 20, and you'll see where it goes. Each time you hit that milestone, it's like, well, do I just double down or do I diversify? Personally, I went with the diversification route, and that's when I really started to accumulate a lot more HBAR and a lot more Flare. I'm also recently starting to buy Quant. I would say if you can, buy all 4. If you can only buy XRP, just buy XRP. At the end of the day, it's all about doing what you can do, right? We all have different situations. So what I'm able to do is going to be different from what some of you are able to do. Some of you can probably do more, maybe some people less. We're all in different situations. So it's hard to give a one-size-fits-all picture for everybody that wants to get involved in crypto. But in general, I guess the order of operations is to keep it succinct. I'd probably be going XRP, then Quant, Flare, and HBAR right now, kind of in that order. Specifically because the Clarity Act got delayed, I think Quant has a position right now to actually jump ahead, and that's specifically due to us not having clarity. So I do like what I see with Quant, but the reason for that really being is simply because the bill didn't go through. I know it's on here somewhere. Yeah, Quant right here, number 67. Look at that. It's doing great. Back up to around $80. I mean, it's just shy of 80. It's going to probably hit it for sure today. Topped out at around $87 last week. And by the way, this little spot right here where it did grow, everything else market-wide went down that day. So Quant went up almost 10% while everybody else was suffering. Really makes you think, has Quant in a weird way decoupled? Has Quant in a weird way decoupled from everything else? So I want to catch up on the chat as I've seen it move a little bit, and I haven't taken a quick look. Oh, yeah. Pat hit me with that good one. This is not a financial advice channel. This is all for entertainment purposes. I got to open the window because it's like 80 degrees in here. So I'm not a licensed professional. I am not a financial advisor. So always do your own research before making any purchases. With that, I'm going to catch up on some more of the chat here. Thanks for looking out for me, guys. I appreciate that. Desire says, you're one of the best here. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys help me. Keep this thing going. So I appreciate that. FRD says the slurps, is it that loud? I guess I don't really know because what you guys hear and what I hear are probably two very different things. Maybe I'll lean away from the mic when I take my sip of coffee. You guys ever see that chocolate rain video? Like, chocolate rain, and he like leans away. Maybe I gotta do that lean when I drink my coffee. Maybe that's the move. We got G Carmen. Hey, thanks for hopping in here. ETF is smart when tax time comes, if in Roth. Good daily show, gets me through a lot of windshield time. I appreciate that. Any thoughts on Linear? I don't know if I know that one. I can give it a quick look though. I mean, we can at least see the charts, but I'd have to probably actually research what this token does before I could really, give you a good opinion on it. I have no idea what it does, so maybe I'll just look into this one offline and get back to you on that. But maybe there's some headlines here that give us at least some picture here. Looks like it might have something to do with gaming. All these tweets here on the side are almost always like hype or like almost like Chat GPT created comments. So this is sometimes not very useful. Won't read the whole thing, but just hitting it at a high level. So Linea is a layer 2 build on Ethereum. There are a lot of those. Just throwing this out there. A layer 2 on Ethereum isn't exactly a unique thing. But it does look like it's got some native yield. I always do like yield, and I like DeFi. So this little bullet point right here, native yield, ETH bridge to Linea will be natively staked to generate rewards for liquidity providers, fueling sustainable DeFi. If you guys know me, I love DeFi, but that's why I love Flare. So it's going to be kind of hard to peel me away from Flare at this time. Flare is basically my my DeFi all in. That's like my quarterback, we can look more into this one. I might do a deeper dive. But that just hit a thing I want to talk about. Gonna jump straight back to Flare while this idea is still fresh. Part of the reason that I've been, advertising on this channel, which is definitely not financial advice and just my opinion, the reason I'm targeting 1 million Flare in the first place, I'd like to see it go to $1. But let's just say Flare only went to 50 cents, which is still, by the way, a 50x on where it is right now. Because of the way that the staking protocol works, this would essentially, in all functional senses, would be the same as buying a multifamily home or like a $500,000 house for like a family of 4. And you're going to be getting basically rent money. It's the same idea, right? It's like having tenants in a rental unit. The only difference is that your Flare tokens are never going to put a hole in the wall or get cigarette smoke to stain the ceilings or any of the other problems that can come from having tenants. Like maybe they break the stove or the microwave or whatever. I guess what I'm just trying to say with this is that, staking in DeFi is, for the most part, a stress-free way to get the same outcome that you would with real estate properties. And this is something that, to me, that I don't really hear a whole lot of other content creators talking about. They'll talk about how staking works or how great it is, but I don't see them really connecting the dots that this is a safer, less stress, less overhead, but otherwise completely comparable to having a real estate portfolio. So if someone were ever say, like, should I be buying real estate? In my mind, I'm like, no, you should be buying Flare. So I wanted to hit that before I forgot, because that's a really big reason of why I'm buying Flare in the first place. Shelby says, I'm not sure about the reverse carry trade because those loans are issued at fixed rates. So, coffee slurp. So here's the thing. I was trying to find the best way to explain this to a friend last night, but with the interest rates in Japan, the problem becomes Japan has to, pay its own debts, and it's lent out yen all over the world. So they're going to have to recall that yen in order to pay their own bills, because the same loans that Japan's giving the rest of the world, they're actually utilizing themselves. So it's kind of like a double whammy on that, in that regard. And so I was thinking the best analogy for this, and maybe this is maybe this takes a little bit more time for me to work out, but let's just say, for example, I live in Michigan. Some people tell me I shouldn't be revealing where I live, but whatever. I live in Michigan, and in Michigan you can't get the beer Yingling, right? So if I want Yingling, I got to contact somebody that lives, southern in the United States to get the Yingling beer. So let's just say I call someone from Cincinnati. That person can then go to, a beer store and grab that beer. But what if that person gets to the store and finds out there's so much Yingling inside the store that they can't even stock it? And so they create an arrangement with that store that person who's going to get me the beer will buy the beer from the store, sends it to me and says, you know what, I trust you. Don't worry about it. Just pay me back someday. And so I'm able to get the Yingling. This person down in Ohio, or let's just say they're in Cincinnati, they're getting the beer, And they realize, oh, I can do this with a whole bunch of different people. So now I've got this Yingling going to Boston, and I got it to Detroit, or Salt Lake City, or Seattle, whatever. You're sending this stuff all over the place, and it's all working fine because the beer store had so much Yingling that they can't stock it, right? So they kind of partner up with that person in Cincinnati, who, by the way, is the Bank of Japan. That's kind of how this works. And so that person in Cincinnati or the Bank of Japan is buying the Yingling or the yen from the store and then distributing it amongst the world. Well, one day the person goes to that store and realizes that there's nothing else stocked on the shelves, and you're like, well, wait a minute, is this store doing good business? And the store owner will say, oh, don't worry about it, we're just fine. In fact, we'll give you a beer for free for continuing to do what you're doing. On the surface level, that person, the Cincinnati guy or the Bank of Japan, would say, yeah, that's fine. We'll take the beer, we'll keep shipping it out, and as a reward, that person or the Bank of Japan or that person gets one beer, right? Let me know if this idea is hitting or not. I was working it out last night, and maybe it's a little rough around the edges. But this thing continues to escalate, where over time, that person in Cincinnati or the Bank of Japan goes to the beer store and is like, there's nothing ever on the shelves but all this Yingling. And the store just says like, oh, we'll just keep giving you, we'll give you more Yingling. And that's the interest rate going up and up. Well, here's where the thing becomes a problem. One day, that Cincinnati customer goes into the store and starts to see a we're closing sign. So that person starts to go into like an oh shoot mode where it's like, I'm about to run out of all this Yingling altogether. So in order to kind of revive the store, that person needs to go out and get all the beer that they've loaned back and give it back to the store and get them operational again and to make their books back to even, right? The only problem with that is I got this case of Yingling from my friend in Cincinnati, and I go to a party and I trade that Yingling for a couple slices of pizza. Or maybe I go to another guy and I say, I actually kind of want a Michelob Ultra right now. Do you think I could give you a Yingling for some Mich Ultra? And so over the span of time, all the different people getting Yingling from this store have given it to other people or to other things in exchange for something else. And so if that person in Cincinnati starts calling people saying, hey, I need you to pay me back, things aren't going so great here, you're like, well, I don't really have it anymore either. And so you go back to the guy that you traded for the pizzas with or the Michelob Ultras with and ask them if they can give the Yingling back. Not only do they not have it anymore, you find out that they've also got a deal with that same guy in Cincinnati, and they've been getting Yingling on the side too. So everybody is in this situation where they owe that guy in Cincinnati the Yingling, but they can't pay it back because they don't have it anymore. And so that's the situation where they might be able to say, and when I say they, I mean the Bank of Japan or the guy in Cincinnati for this analogy, they might say, okay, we'll take Miller Lite. And so everybody's going to go out and try to grab as much Miller Lite as you can. You end up going to Costco and you're looking for the Miller Lite and maybe there's a case or two left and you're like, well, what's been going on? Where's all the Miller Lite? And the guy at the desk says, a couple of weeks ago, some people came in and just started stockpiling Miller Lite. I don't know why, but this is all we've got. And so everybody in the store that has to pay back the dude in Cincinnati is all fighting to buy the same case or two of Miller Lite. And so they're going to have to pay out the nose crazy prices just to get this thing back there. And that's kind of how the reverse carry trade's going to unwind using beer as kind of the parable. I hope that analogy worked. I don't know for certain if it completely hit, so let me know if it did. But maybe that is a little rough around the edges, but that's kind of the layman's way of explaining it, is that everybody owes Japan the yen, but nobody has the yen. So the only way to pay Japan is to give them something that Japan will accept in place of the yen, which all of us are hoping is XRP, and I don't really see any other way to do it. Gold and silver, it would take too long. It'd be too cumbersome. To get all the gold, silver bars and all the coins and things like that from around the world back to Japan would take months, if not years, to organize that and facilitate it. But their own market doesn't have the time for that, right? So, we thought that this would keep rising. Probably still will. Jumped up 10 bips in just a 24-hour period. Kind of settled back down at 230, but that's still a pretty high yield for this bond. It's not looking great. And I think this will have a disastrous effect on the stock market. I really do. I don't think that this is going to be good for the overall market, because this has to come from somewhere, right? Like some of these stocks, like Palantir, for example, you look at this stock and it doesn't really make sense where all of its growth has come from. Like they're not making enough money to justify going from $20 in 2024 all the way up to, that they peaked out at like 200 something, 200 flat. They're not making that kind of money to be able to justify this kind of growth. So it's like, where is all of this money coming from? And it's not just Palantir. There's other ones out there too. Now, I hate to say it, but I feel like Nvidia might be included on this, even though it's one of my favorites. But Nvidia might be okay simply because they are, making all the Bitcoin graphics cards that everyone mines on. But what is it? OpenAI? I don't know if they have a public stock. They might not. Yeah, they're privately held, but OpenAI, there was news coming out over the summer where Sam Altman was having a meltdown on an interview because somebody asked him how they can have a valuation in the billions when they only make like 20 million in revenue. And I think those are very good questions to be asking, because I think those are the companies that'll probably get liquidated during a reverse carry trade. So it's something that I'm definitely, I'm watching this thing every single day. Let me catch up with the comments. I think I've missed a few. Ben says XRP is going back down. Let's see. How about all the whiplash, huh? It seems like it's like a one step forward, two steps back almost on a daily basis with just crypto in general. I think 2024 might have gotten some of us a little doughy-eyed that things just go up and to the right. I think eventually that they will, but yeah, to see this thing fall back to 191, that doesn't feel so great. Let's see if other coins are also dropping. Okay, yeah, so Solana's dropping too. Let's see if Ethereum is. Yep. So right now the entire market is moving together. It seems like there's trading algorithms that kind of have the market cornered. I don't think that you and I as individuals move the market even like a fraction of a percent. So we just sort of have I hate to say it, but we kind of just have no choice but to just buy and hold and ride the wave. I'm going to catch up on the chat because I know that there's been some movement. Right off the bat, I see Rated Russian. Where can you buy Flare? I buy Flare on Coinbase. There are some exchanges that don't have it. I don't think Robinhood has it, but I don't personally use Robinhood for crypto, or I don't actually use it at all. Mostly I'm on Coinbase and Gemini because I do have the Gemini card. I use that for some things. I've noticed that Quant, for whatever reason, is not executing trades on Coinbase. Not exactly sure why that's happening, but I was able to buy my quant on. Hold on, I just saw something funny here. Before I lose my train of thought, if you can buy quant on Gemini, that's a good place to scoop it up right now. Steph says, "Hey Andrew, just checked Fox News Live and they're covering Slurpgate. It's going viral." Is it really that loud? I'll have to listen to the playback. Maybe I just won't drink coffee on the stream if it's that loud. 'Cause I don't know how else to drink it. I'll just lean all the way over here. I do love my coffee. Let me catch up here. We got Quant is not a blockchain, hence the climb when others were down. Very, very good point. For those that you don't know, Quant is an access token that gives you access to the Overledger platform. So unlike all of these other coins that are actually like blocks on a chain, Quant is an operating system. So it doesn't necessarily have to move with the rest of the market. And that's the fact that it's an operating system and not a blockchain token is a big reason for me to be bullish on it. This just caught my eye. This seems like the one coin that's not red right now. Never seen this before. MyX Finance. That's interesting. Always interesting to look at some coins and wonder why are they going up when everything else is going down. I mean, if you look at the charts here on the right, almost the entire market follows the same patterns. Let me catch up with some more chats here. Flare's having another flare drop. I'd buy again after that. Yeah, the next one is on the 30th. And we can actually look at... This is a cool site. I'll link it in the live chat. If you're a Flare holder and you want to really... if you really want to get into the analytics and you're comfortable with looking at some complicated stuff, this tells us exactly when the next flare drop's going out. Maybe not on this particular slide here, but we can see that this is a voting clock. So you can see that they've got 3,360 votes for the next epoch. The epochs come out, every 3.5 days or so. And then I believe the actual flare drop chart, I might have to poke around on this a little bit, but it's in here somewhere. Maybe it's under network validators. No, that's not it. But in any case, if you go to Catalytica.com and kind of poke around on here, you can learn all kinds of neat stuff about all the different FTSO providers. If you're into staking, if that's your thing, I would come here, read up on what you can. I would probably pick an FTSO that has a hit rate of 100%. Not the end of the world, right? If you pick some of these other ones, I mean, 99.37 is very close to 100%, right? Some of them not so great, so I would kind of be careful. Maybe not picking some of these ones down here that are in the red, or even some of these ones in the 80s. So you're not going to know this looking directly at the Flare Network site. So I like to use this as a way to track how they're doing. I believe I'm using FlareBus on my YouTube wallet. Let's see where that one ranks up. Okay, FlareBus is right here. It's at 100%, so happy with where this one's at right now. So it's just stuff like this that you can come here and really get some good info. And then there's also a Flare rich list that has, beyond just having the rich list on here, also has some really cool stuff. This is where it has the flare drop. So we can see the final flare drop hits January 30th. Oddly enough, they're giving out less tokens than any of the other flare drops. You can see it's always been 676. So I think that's 676 million. This last one's only going to be 580 million. But if you haven't been getting the flare drops at this point, I'd say that I wouldn't worry about it too much because it is coming to an end. We'll see what happens with the price after this. One thing I think is really interesting, if we look at, I believe it's the validator tracker tab, there's not a lot of people staking. So the green bar on this page, and let me move myself up here so I'm not blocking it. You can see here that Flare has a pretty high circulating supply. The wrapped Flare is pretty consistent. For whatever reason, some people don't want to wrap their Flare, and everyone can make their own choices, but you are leaving Flare on the table if you don't. But again, up to you. I do think it's strange that not many people are staking. They've only got 11 billion Flare staked right now. I suspect when the Flare drops finish on the 30th, this is probably going to go down, or this red part, the red Flare will probably go down, and the green Flare, or I'm sorry, the wrapped Flare, which is the red bar, will go down, and the staked Flare, which is the green bar, will go up. That's kind of what I expect to happen after the 30th. So what I'm going to do, because I got a whole bunch of Flare specifically for a video, we're going to put Flare in equal parts into quite literally every available DeFi option on their site, including having it as staked collateral, or not staked, including having it as collateral for the FXRP pools. And we're going to track for 6 months how do all three of those options compare with each other, and which one do I think, at the end of 6 months is the best way to allocate your Flare to get the maximum rewards. There's interesting stuff, right? The delegation pays a lot, or the staking pays a lot better than the delegation. Is that because the staking is more risky? Now, I've heard it said that maybe we'll go back to Catalytica. This will be a better way to look at it. I have heard that, let me hit reward analytics. This is what I was looking for. I have heard that you can't lose any money, or you can't lose any Flare through delegation. So we can see, I'm just looking at some of these, nothing about these ones. It's just, they're the ones that are on the screen. We can see that, this one right here, the Oracle Daemon, has a delegation of 6.25 APY. If we look over here on staking, it's 14%. It's like, well, why is the staking so much higher? And I think the reason for that being is that if Oracle Daemon screws something up, if they take a penalty, you lose some of your Flare for partnering up with them. I think that's how it works. Maybe somebody can correct me on that if I have it wrong, but I think no matter what with delegation, you're not at any risk of losing some of your principal, whereas with staking, I think there is that risk, and that's why the earnings are so much higher. But that would also be why you really want to, if you're going to get involved in this, which I will be because I want to give you guys the analysis here, you would want to pick, where was that screen that had all the 100% ratings? I want to see that. Shoot, which one was it? I might have to click around here. No, not here. Well, anyways, you want this is what I was looking for. If you're going to go staking, which I'm going to probably do more content on this pretty soon, try to pick a provider that has a 100% hit rate. If your hit rate is 100%, all that means that you're not going to ever get a penalty from them screwing up. Of course, just because they haven't screwed up yet doesn't mean they won't down the road. But I'm still really just not that worried about it. If you look at these numbers, almost all the FTSO providers are at like 99% or better. So I would just say steer clear of some of these ones at the bottom if you do get involved in staking. one way or another, I'll be doing it, and I will report back to you guys with my results. And in general, we're pioneers in this space. We're so far ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to this that even just by watching this channel and understanding what it is I'm doing, you're going to be so much further ahead than the average Joe that has no idea what this is. By the time those one-click stakings come around, which they'll be one click. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you actually know how this stuff works, you can maximize your potential way better than you could with just a one-click scenario, right? Like, I mean, just looking at, the FTSO performance. Well, I want to get back to that reward analytics. Yeah, there we go. If you had one stake, or if you had one-click staking, you don't really get to choose what you get, right? They might stick you in something that, like, isn't very good. Let me see if I can find one that doesn't look that great. Maybe be more towards the bottom. Oh yeah, here we go. What if they stuck you into Stake Capital FTSO? It has a 0% staking rate. Not saying they're going to do that, you guys, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is with the one-click options, you don't really get the freedom to really do your research and try to really pick the winner. Well, let's say I've done my research. I am super excited about Digital Dynamics, and they've got this 16% APY. And I did the research, and I rolled up my sleeves and really tried to figure this stuff out. And even though they have the one-click option, I said, I'm going to go in there and do it myself anyways. I could get this 16%, whereas other people aren't going to get it. They're going to get whatever the one-click option puts them into. And this is kind of just what I'm really trying to say is that we're so new to this stuff. The people that put in the most effort to really learn it are going to be the ones that benefit the most. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to do for you guys is let's get the data. And it's going to be a 6-month experiment. We're going to get the data. And then after 6 months, we're going to talk about it. And I bet by 6 months from now, we're going to have a real good picture of, how do you really maximize your position here in the DeFi space. Going to catch up here on the chat. You guys are picking on me for drinking my coffee. Oh, that's all right, you guys. I understand. By the way, there's 50 of you guys watching. If you could help bring me up to 40 likes, that would help greatly with the channel. I'm gonna see if I can do a sip of coffee without any noise. Let's see if that's even doable. You guys let me know if that one was pretty quiet. I put a lot of effort into that one. Have you seen the old Roman coin Cairo and compared it to the XRP token? Ooh, we have a Cashew Nate enjoyer here. I have seen that. Let's take a quick look at it. Yes, I certainly have seen that. It is interesting, isn't it? I mean, there's like 50 of these on the screen. Maybe this one's the cleanest image. Oh, I gotta move my box again. Here we go. It is interesting stuff, right? Obviously, this is the X. I mean, that's a very obvious given. I forget what does Cashew Nate say about the R? Because this is obviously the P. You have your X and your P right here. I don't necessarily see where the R fits into this, but I have a feeling in his video, I definitely have seen it. I just don't remember what he had to say about that one. But I mean, this is some interesting stuff. It just goes to show that I feel like there's a bigger thing at play here than all of us maybe realize. You got your alpha and your omega. I don't know. There could be something here. Or David Schwartz just likes to play riddles with us. It could always just be that too. Let me see here. FXRP or which is better? Okay, let me restate that. Tommy asks, is FXRP or wrapped flare better? We're gonna have to find out. I have my FXRP staked on Firelight. Their vaults have been full. I'm a little disappointed that, you know, it's been almost 2 months and the vaults have not moved one bit. I wanted to put more in so I could get more data, but it is what it is. They will eventually reopen and I'll eventually be able to get more FXRP staked into Firelight. But we're gonna definitely be staking a lot of flare. I'm a little nervous to be showing those numbers on the screen, but you know, I'm a man of science, so we're gonna do it, and whatever comes from it, it comes from it. Some people have said to me that I shouldn't be so open on this channel, but I don't want to live a life in fear, right? And I don't want to be a faceless channel. I don't want to be an AI using channel, so I'm using my real face, my real name. If whatever happens, I'm not worried about it. I feel like a lot of us here are probably Christians or at least somewhat spiritual. I'm not from Earth. I'm only on it. If something happens to me that sends me back up to the man upstairs, then you know, then it is what it is. More chat. All right, so there's other stuff on the actual coin. R is for resurrection. We got Alpha and Omega. Is XRP the end? And hopefully, is it a good ending? Well, I certainly hope so. Whoa. Well, I just need my table there. Interesting stuff. I've seen a lot of videos from Cashew Nate. I think his real name is Nathan. He was on a podcast that one of you guys sent me earlier this week. We won't watch it. I know some people don't like that I'm watching stuff, but I can at least show you guys what that one was. Let me just clean up the screen over here so that I'm not getting myself in any trouble here. You just never know on YouTube. Where's my history button? What? This is weird. Normally, whatever. I'll just do it here. Okay, there we go. I watched it yesterday. Oh yeah, good thing I didn't share my screen. You know, I like stuff too. I watch stuff too, so some of the stuff I watch could get me in trouble. Geez, where is it? Oh, I hope I didn't watch it on Twitter. If I don't find it here in 2 seconds, we'll just drop it. But there was a video that I watched. It would have been on Monday. It would have been... here we go. I knew I'd find it. So I thought this was a really good listen. We won't watch it.
1,000.
But I will at least link it. And if you guys want to watch this one, I just linked it in the chat. I'm pretty sure Nathan is Cashew Nate, unless there's two Australian dudes that look and sound the same. But I'm pretty sure that's him. He makes really cool stuff. He covers a lot of the biblical side of things. So just looking at some of his videos, I know that he had the Cairo coin video. I bet if I scroll down here, yeah, here it is. This is it. If you guys were interested in that, I did watch this. It's a little bit longer, so we're definitely not watching it on this stream. But you know, if you wanted to see this, let me see. I can maybe at least get the
what are the
get the links out to you guys. And if you want to watch this one on your own, I'm gonna link this one in the chat as well. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, I don't know how he does his research. Some of this stuff is like, how do you even find this stuff out? I think it's very interesting. I focus more on like the investor side of things, but there's definitely people out there that are focused on like almost like the lore or like the mythology of it all. Is XRP from Antarctica? Now that's a tagline right there. I like his channel. If you guys haven't seen him before, definitely check him out. He makes some pretty cool stuff. Bretton Woods 2.0. What do you mean by that exactly? I hear Bretton Woods all the time. But I have to be honest, I don't exactly know what it means 100%. So it's some kind of it's like a collection of like it's a conglomerate, right? I'm just gonna Google it. We're allowed to Google on stream, right? Bretton Woods refers to the 1944 conference in New Hampshire that established a post-World War II international monetary system. Okay. Creating the IMF and World Bank, pegging stuff to the dollar. It's self-convertible to gold. Well, if they do that for XRP, you guys, we are going to be loaded. Let's see here. So that... So what when you say Bretton Woods 2.0, do you mean like that's what we're going towards right now? Okay, I'm gonna catch up with Ben because Ben's got quite a lot of stuff here. I don't know why he likes gold paper money though. He sees things in movies, and that ain't what became the world currency. Oh, ain't that when the U.S. became world currency? I thought it happened in 1971. I thought 1971 was when, and that was basically over the petrodollar. By the way, you guys, you gotta be kidding me. I could have bought my flare at 995 if I would have just held on for an hour and a half. Not like it really matters, but. That's just totally a vanity thing for me. I just wanted to say that I did it. If you guys don't know, I think you guys probably know if you've been watching, Flare's at its all-time low. So there's never been a better buying opportunity. I think it went down to, it very, very briefly in 2023 went down to 0091, which would be like 2 or 3% lower than what it's at right now. And it didn't stay there for very long. I think it was only there for maybe a couple of days. So right now, Flare's at that all-time low. I just stocked up. I mean, I'm gonna be rocking and rolling Flare for a while now. And I don't plan on selling this stuff ever. So, catch me in 10 years with whatever Flare is at. I don't plan on selling a single token. I plan on getting them staked as much as I possibly can. So to me, this is like going to Texas Roadhouse and putting your hand in the peanut barrel, just grabbing peanuts. It's like all you can grab, right? I mean, right now, $100 would get you, I think, 1,000 Flare tokens, or maybe even more. No, $100 I think would get you 10,000 Flare tokens. So imagine walking into an ATM machine and saying, okay, I'm going to put $100 into this thing, and then 10 years from now, it's going to give me 10 grand back, is basically what Flare is. That's not financial advice, by the way. But yeah, super, super, super bullish on this. I might even just make a video on it after this. That's how excited I am about it. Yeah, it looks like you guys got me to 40 likes. Mission accomplished. I'm super grateful for that. Let's see. What else do you guys want me to look at? I was planning to shoot another video here soon, so I don't know if we're gonna go to 1 o'clock anymore. It seems like people in general didn't really like the Twitter section, and I can see that for myself because whenever I jump over to Twitter, I usually drop off about 10 to 15 viewers. So even if no one's saying anything out loud, the fact that people walk away from the stream is a sign in itself that the Twitter section's probably not the best. So I think maybe we just tighten this up to an hour. Unless we're really having really good convo in the chat and there's more for us to talk about, I think I'll probably tighten this up. Let's see if we can run through maybe another 10, 15 minutes, just talk things out. And then I'll probably start working on the closeout. And then that'll give me another hour to try to really crank out another video here. Trying to do daily videos, so on top of streaming. By the way, for those of you that are hanging with me right now, I'm going to be working on my first collaborative video. It's going to be my first collab, working on that one tonight. So pretty excited to see how that one goes. This channel is moving in real time. It's like every day I look at my subscriber count and it's just going up and up. It's kind of a surreal experience considering I wasn't really even on YouTube until like 2.5 months ago. So working on a collab video tonight. I don't know if that'll be out tomorrow or not. I want to see how it goes. So I can tell you guys, I was reached out to by a boutique brokerage. They are think like Uphold or Coinbase or Kraken, but on a much smaller scale. So the verbiage they used for me was boutique. And we're just gonna do a collaborative interview, and I'll ask them questions, and we'll just see how it goes. It's my first one. I'm not really sure how these things. We'll just see how it plays out. I'm excited for it because it shows that there's genuine interest in this channel, and we'll see what comes from it. I don't know if it's I don't know if they're trying to do like a sponsorship thing or if they just wanted to talk with me about where the market's going. So going into it with an open mind, and we'll see what comes from that. If you guys are interested in looking them up, one thing I noticed from their site that I thought was pretty cool, I think it's these guys. Let me see that I made sure that I went to the right place. This might not be it. One thing that they do though that I thought was really cool, they have a crypto 401k, and I want to ask them about that because that's pretty cool. Okay, here it is. So I'm excited to at least pick their brain about this. They've got on their own site. I want to see if I can pull it up right here. Yeah. So if I'm seeing this correctly, they can synchronize your 401k. And in some ways, we're already doing it with the Roth IRA, right? But instead of buying the ETFs, I believe what they're showing here is that you can actually buy tokens and have custody of the tokens in a retirement account. So I want to pick their brain on this, see if that's really what's going on, and if it is like that, that's something that I would actually be pretty excited about. Maybe even something I'd take advantage of myself. So I'm gonna be doing that with them later tonight, and we'll see how that one plays out. So keep an eye out for that. It's not necessarily, I don't know if it's a sponsorship. Maybe it could turn into one. Keeping things open-minded. I've been reached out by companies that are just selling like regular merchandise, like a dog collar. I don't know if you guys care about dog collars, but it would kind of help me out to just read a 90-second ad about dog collars. So if that one happens, I might take it. I don't know. We'll see. Still learning all this stuff as I go. You don't know how this stuff works until you're in it and doing it. So it's kind of cool to have companies reaching out and asking if I'll do ad reads and things like that. Hopefully you guys don't hate it. I'll try to at least make it fun, or maybe give you guys a timestamps in the description of the video that lets you know it's like, oh, now I can jump from here to here. I do that sometimes too. Baller says, I agree with this, man. I'm here because you are very genuine. You don't have thumbnails with your hands on your face, a look of shock, yelling in, boom, etc. I won't name drop anybody, but there's a guy, and I bet you guys know who I'm talking about, who every single one of his thumbnails, he has this dopey, like, his mouth is wide open, like, and it's just like, I can't even click your video because your thumbnail pisses me off. I won't say who it is, and maybe I get myself in trouble by saying stuff like that, but you're never going to see me doing some self-deprecating face for a thumbnail. The most I might do, even my most recent video, was probably as far as I'll take it, right? I can pull that one up real quick. My most recent video, which I thought the thumbnail was actually pretty good, by the way. But you know, I got that Homelander laser eye beams coming out of my eyes to point at the Japanese Bond. That's probably as far as it's gonna go for me. You're not gonna see me making stupid, silly faces, or there's not gonna be any nuclear bomb in the background like XRP's 10K. I don't have a single video with XRP's price in the thumbnail. I don't think I have a single one. And I don't ever plan on making one of those. I mean, there's not a lot of content creators that, you know, have genuine thumbnails. So that's something I want to really stay consistent with. Oh, okay. Without saying, I'm just going to pin the comment. I'm not even going to read it out loud, but if you know, you know. But you got it, hammer on the nail, SF. Oh, and Pat. Okay, Pat also got it. So that's the plan. You know, I do have to monetize myself in some way because I walked away from corporate America to chase my dreams here. And we'll see in 6 months if that was a good decision or not. But the way I thought about it, and this was just sort of my own perspective on things, was that if I had a cushy job, I'm not going to come home and shoot YouTube videos because it's just going to be like, like there's really no sense of urgency to it. But if I have literally no job right now, every single day it's like, all right, I got to rip the internet apart. I need to know what's going on in crypto. What do I got to do? And then that's on top of like, you know, I got to shoot the video. I got to stream. I got to make the thumbnails. I got to do all the engagement. And I don't think that I could do all this stuff if I was working another full-time job. So that's where I was just like, all right, let's do this. I'm giving this till June 1st. So one way or another, I'm all in for 6 months, and I'm hoping and praying on my knees that this thing at least gets operational enough to cover my bills, because the ad revenue from video views alone, unless I was getting millions of views, which I don't think, I mean, not even the big channels in crypto get 1 million views. So I just don't see that as a realistic approach. But the sponsorship direction, that actually might be the thing. And so we'll just see how this all plays out and cross those fingers. Ben says, I love Star Wars 2 Attack of the Clones. It relates to the current times. You know, I've actually thought that like the original Star Wars prequel trilogies, I know we hated it back like when I was a kid, but I actually think they've aged like incredibly well. The whole Emperor Palpatine, the whole political side of the prequel trilogy is actually genius. I think Palpatine and Netanyahu are very comparable, especially in the way that they played the way Palpatine played the Trade Federation against the Republic is, I think, the same way that Netanyahu plays Hamas and who's the other one? There's Hamas, and then there's whatever. He's playing them against his own country so that he can do all this crazy stuff. I don't know if I should be getting into all that, or else my channel will get demonetized. But yeah, it's Star Wars Revenge of the Sith definitely has some Palestine Gaza parallels going on with that. So pretty weird stuff. What are my top 3 cold wallets? I only have a Descent. I know a lot of people have Tangem and have had good results with Tangem. So you probably go with Tangem, Descent. I'd probably avoid Ledger going forward, just because they had that security leak. The last thing you want is a leak in your wallet. So, hey, being in the security business is a rough thing, man. Sucks to be Ledger. I don't know if I would recommend Ledger going forward. Even just one security breach is more than one is too many, right? Especially when it comes to security. So, Descent, Tangem. I guess those are the only 2. I don't know what a third one would be. I don't want to just throw one out just to get it out there, but I guess maybe you go with Arculus. Descent or Tangem, you're fine. Let's see here. We got 500 beehives bought with XRP. Now those beehives buy me 10 XRP a week. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know what... Oh, do you mean like actual beehives? I don't know if that's an analogy or if that's a real thing. Let's see. Dean says, let's go back to the beer analogies. I think the beer analogy works. I just have to work out the details. I thought about it last night and I was telling it to myself. If I do it a couple more times, I think that beer analogy can really cook. I think that one can really get the point across for the reverse carry trade. Because I get it, if you're not researching this stuff at a deep level, this Japanese bond stuff is like extremely confusing for the average person to try to unpack. Tommy, that's awesome. That is cool. You must live somewhere rural, smart man. I am unfortunate to live in a not so rural area. And I say unfortunate because it usually means that I have to put up with all the city problems. About to sneeze. The secret to sneezing is to announce it's about to happen, and that's what actually stops a sneeze from happening. Always take profits. I kind of agree to an extent. But only if that profit goes towards something productive. So if you were going to rotate a little bit out of XRP, maybe you rotate it into gold or silver. Maybe you roll it into like a mortgage payment, or maybe you're buying a new property or something that is productive. But I've never been a fan of taking profits just because something's up. So, definitely okay to do that, just as long as it's not to go to the casino and gamble and eat crab legs. That's where I don't like taking profits. If you were going to do something like that, I'd rather it be off of staking yield. So like a stake yield, that's where I might go say, all right, let's go get the crab legs, let's get the chain, the watch, maybe the Lambo someday, but you got to get out of the system and get a little land. I definitely agree with that. Especially with all the things been heating up out of Minneapolis, I've been through that. I've already done that with the 2020. I lived in, you guys already know where I live, so screw it. I lived in downtown Detroit during the summer of 2020, and I got to see with my own 2 eyes why you don't want to live in the city when there's civil unrest. Ooh, we got a little visitor. Hey, buddy. So my dog just barged in. Maybe I can pick him up. You want to come up here? Say hi to everyone. All right, buddy. We got a little random visitor here today. Let me see if I can pick him up. You want to say hi? This is what I do now. Well, this is Marvin, you guys. He's the world's nicest corgi. Born and raised in Windsor. Oh, you're close by. We should go play some hockey sometime. Hockey's my number one sport. Get the PRX watch. Steak yield, not steak yield. Well, you can get some steak with your staking. Yeah, he's a good guy. He likes to barge in here. When I'm shooting a video or editing, he basically sits at my feet. I think that might be why someone reached out and they want to do a dog collab. I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, but I don't know. Maybe a dog collab actually hits. We'll see. Charlie says, hey, Marvin, corgis are the coolest. I agree. I've always liked corgis. People always ask, why'd you get a corgi? And it's like, the honest answer to that question is Instagram. And I don't think TikTok was a thing yet, but definitely Instagram. Just seeing corgis doing weird stuff. I was like, dude, I got to go get one of them dogs. And sure enough, this dude is absolutely crazy, you guys. Don't let his cuteness fool you. He is like Curious George, always getting into stuff. I made a post not that long ago. He got sick in the middle of the night because he was eating things he shouldn't have been. Making me got to go clean up after him. Charlie says, everyone who holds XRP should read the book, The Changing World Order. Do you want to see the book I'm currently reading? Because I could probably add that one to the list. Let me go grab it real quick. I'm going to step away for like 10 seconds. Right now, I'm reading The Creature from Jekyll Island. This book is enormous. It's probably going to take me a long time to get through. It's 600 pages. But this is almost like a college thesis level. Like, this is your crypto 400, 401 capstone project level. I don't know. This is the book you read if you're really trying to figure out where everything starts and how we got to where we are. Huge read, very interesting, but it can be hard. It's kind of like reading the Bible. You can't just pick it up and just start reading. You have to like chop it up into bites. So that's probably going to take me a little bit of time. By the way, I've read the entire Bible cover to cover, from Genesis to Revelation. And man, getting through the Old Testament took me about 8 months, but I did it. I read the entire Bible, and it's a pretty dang good read if you guys haven't. Next, I should read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh, sweet. Awesome, Charlie. I'm glad to hear that. If you guys want to know the other book I recently read, I guess I can grab that one too. I finished this book. About 2 weeks ago. It's American Kingpin. It's about Ross Ulbricht, the creator of the Silk Road. It's a crypto book, kind of, because it does get into a lot of, Bitcoin. It doesn't tell you how Bitcoin works. It doesn't tell you any of that kind of stuff, but it does show you how it was used in the criminal underworld. That's, by the way, American Kingpin. It almost reads like Wolf of Wall Street or like The Big Short or like the Facebook movie, where it's like all this crazy extravagant like lifestyle. Like this dude goes from being kind of like a nobody to like a billionaire over the span of like 18 months. And it was all about, creating a narcotics empire through the dark web, and Bitcoin was the backbone of the payment system. Really interesting stuff. It's a fun read. It reads basically like a Wall Street action movie in a sense, the same way that Wolf of Wall Street or The Big Short, where it's just excessive. Everything's over the top. That was a fun one to read. The Jekyll Island one is a good read, but it's definitely not as exciting. It's a little bit more granular, if that makes sense. But I'm trying to read as many books as I can this year. I usually try to spend like a half hour to an hour a day reading. So it might take me a while to get through that one. The Jekyll Island, by the way. Let's see here. I might start wrapping this thing up. Can get through a couple more comments or a couple more questions if you guys like, and then we'll start doing the. Hey Charlie, if you don't mind, this might be a serious self-plug, but could I give you the Amazon affiliate link for that book? if you're gonna buy it anyways. I know that maybe that was like a tacky thing for me to. Let me just get logged in real quick. Maybe I should have already had this stuff figured out before I did all this. I gotta use my Amazon passkey, so what do I gotta do? Amazon. Hold on, I'm doing my two-factor authentication right now. Gotta authenticate. Alright, come on. If I don't get this figured out in the next 5 seconds, I'll just make sure to do it next time. It's taking too long. Ooh, Japanese bond just hit 2.3. It did. Sorry guys, I'm doing my two-factor authenticating right now. Here we go. I think we should be good. Okay, cool. So let's do American Kingpin. The one that's $13. I mean, if you guys are gonna get the thing anyways. Shoot. I'm just gonna put it on this screen so I can see it better. It doesn't change the price of the book in either direction, but I would get like 1% on this thing. Shoot, where's the button? Oh, right here. Oh yeah, I'd get four, so I'd get like 50 cents or something if you guys actually bought this book. I'll link it, up to you. Josh says, what crypto wallet do I stake my Flare tokens? I stake on a Decent wallet. So I bought the 2-pack of the Decent, by the way. So if I go to the Decent page, by the way, always buy from the manufacturer. I don't know if I've said that before, but you never want to buy a cold wallet from a third market seller. So I bought this thing when it was on sale. It was like $150 or something like that. It definitely wasn't $240, but I bought the 2-pack. And for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with the second wallet. And then I became a YouTuber, and it was just like, oh, I got this second wallet. I can use that as my YouTube specific wallet. So if for any reason anything were to ever happen to it, it's only got enough tokens on it for me to do demonstrations, which it would still suck to lose it. But I'm not as worried. They've got other stuff here. I I haven't messed with any of this stuff at all. I don't even know. This is a cool idea, actually, that you could use your Decent wallet as a credit card. I'm kind of assuming that's what this is, but I haven't done it. So, in any case, if you did want to buy a Decent wallet, like I was just saying, let me log in real quick, because if you're going to buy it anyways, I do have a Decent link for my affiliate program. Let me just grab that real fast. Look at my seat. Yeah, I think, okay, here we go. So if you were going to buy it anyways, I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat. Again, oh, is it not letting me do it? Oh, the link is too long to post in the chat. Are you serious, dude? Oh, I guess I can't. Oh, that's a real bummer. Unless maybe I can do. Let's see if let's figure this out together. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this whole streaming thing. And now my screens are all over the place. What just happened? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, here we go. It turned into like Foursquare. I don't even know how it did that. How do I link stuff? I feel like I need like a high schooler sitting behind me who can do all this stuff, so that I can just talk. You're like, you manage the interface here, and all I want to do is just screen share and talk about things. Okay, so what do I have? I don't have. Yeah, that's a huge fucking pain in the ass. Anyways, since I'm having trouble getting this link to work, if you were gonna buy this cold wallet, if you could go to this video I have, it's up to you. I mean, this is all just, I mean, one way or another, you're getting a wallet, right? If you were to click on this link that's in my video, the let's set up a cold wallet together. There's this link right here, which would take you to the same Decent wallet. You know, if you don't need to get the 2-pack. I'd say getting the 1-pack is probably good enough, unless you really want to. But yeah, that would just help out a little bit, at least for me as a creator. But you know, don't feel pressured to do it. If you want to get a Tangem, you know, that is perfectly fine. So just wanted to throw that out there. And let's see. But I do think I'm going to start wrapping this up at least a little bit here. I see there's about 43 of you here. It looks like we've got more than 40 likes, so that's good. If you are joining midway through, if you could like the stream, that helps more people find it. By the way, if you found this stream today, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we're here Monday through Friday, always covering the markets, and this is a great way for me to engage with you guys. So if that's your jam, we'll be here Monday through Friday. Sorry, I moved the screen around on here, and it split all my sections up, and now everything's all over the place. So I'm trying to figure out where my own chat box went. So I wonder if there's a way to just turn that off altogether. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I go up here, does it show it for you guys where it's like all this junk? Like, I don't care about this. Just go away. I don't need that. But anyways, I haven't looked at the channel, or I haven't looked at the chat here in a second. Let's see here. I just want to catch up some comments. So imagine all those things trickling back. Should we download Forex and long the yen? I'm not into the leverage stuff, man. Tommy says, biggest mistake I made buying a Tantrum off Amazon. Found out the card was linked to someone else. Dang, dude. Do you mind if I tell your story? Because that right there is like literally why we say to buy straight from the manufacturer. And there's so many scams out there. It really bothers me. I was hoping this video would do better than it did. Unfortunately, my worst performing video yet. And I don't really know why it didn't perform well, but I did a video about crypto scams, and the scamming is getting really bad. They're using AI. If you guys want to check this one out after, they're using AI to impersonate people, and I hate to say it, but it's actually getting pretty convincing. I just have a bad feeling that a lot of people in the next month or two are going to get burned on one of these crypto scams because there's going to be a lot of press conferences soon, you know, from Bitcoin, from Ripple, and other major developers. And this is going to be a problem. If you guys can,
in the year 2026, we're going to have more.
As me kind of self-plugging a little bit here, but I mean, if you could share this video with people, because this one in particular, beyond just growing my channel, is probably something that anyone who's new to crypto really needs to be seeing. Yeah, Ben says the scammers don't want people to see it. I went through a crypto scam website. We break it all down, how they use the timers to build FOMO. Then they use this progress bar to make you feel like you're the last one getting in. And then their websites are always so like professionally done. It's almost sad. It's like they could use that energy to just actually make something real. But the one that really is nerve-wracking to me is that there's been this promoted Solana scam. And we went through this one too. It always ends with a QR code saying they're giving away like a giveaway. But that's all baloney. If you scan this QR code, say goodbye to your money. And we go over that. I almost don't even want to show it just because I don't want people having the risk of clicking on it. But I mean, if you look right here, it said right here in my suggested bar, because you can see I'm a big Halo guy, I like Halo. Halo showed up as one of my suggested videos. Above that, it says sponsored. Solana YouTube reward, 1 million Solana. Solana's valued at like $140 right now. So no, Solana's not giving $140 million out. It's just, I mean, it's outrageous. But you guys probably already know that. But I guess the point is, you know, someone comes and gets into crypto for the first time. You're not used to getting scammed in like the stock market like you do in crypto. And so I'm trying to help people out as much as I can to avoid that happening. But for some reason that video just didn't perform well. I'm kind of sad about it. Not because like, you know, not every video is going to take off, and that's just part of the game. But that was a video I thought people in particular really needed to see. So if you guys help share that one out, not just for me but for other people, that'd be a really big thing to kind of help get the word out, especially to someone who's new to crypto, and I hate to say this, but like someone who's elderly especially. I know that there's some older folks getting into crypto, and those are the ones that are really at risk. Some of us younger guys, we've been in this space, not just crypto, but like, you know, I played online video games since I was like 10 years old, and people are doing Diablo 2 scams, and it's like I've got a good 20 years of experience being able to tell what's real and what's not. But as someone who's brand new to this stuff, they've just never seen it, they're going to get hit with this stuff, and it's going to really, really ruin their life in a bad way. So that's just what I got to say about that. Why am I looking at this again? Oh, yeah. This is the Descent Cold Wallet. Well, I do think we're going to start wrapping things up. We got through a lot of really good topics today. Just some stuff for us to look out for the rest of the afternoon. As always, I'm checking this thing a couple times a day. It went back down. I know this sounds really messed up, and I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I kind of want this to keep going up, even though it means that it's going to ruin the stock market. But this is going to make XRP rip. And right now, the reverse carry trade's basically the only option because the Clarity Act is in the toilet, at least for now. So we're watching this. We're watching this every day. I'm doing as much research on this as I can to make sure that, I'm giving you guys the right information. Besides that, it looks like crypto went back down. What a roller coaster ride the past couple of months have been. It seems like any recovery just immediately ends with an even bigger dip. We're just going to have to hang in there, you guys. Geez, XRP down to $1.88. This is actually happening like in real time. Yeah, so this is the low. As I live and breathe, making this live stream right now, XRP is doing as bad as it's been all year. It hasn't been this bad since Christmas. I know this stuff is demoralizing, but we just got to hang in there, and it will get better. Yeah, Baller said it's been a roller coaster since the election. Really has. I bought into XRP the first time, maybe somewhere around here. And when I saw it jump up that 400% right there, that's when I knew. Sometimes you got to see it to believe it, right? Like when I was in this range, I was just like, oh, I'm just buying this because my friend told me to. And it's like, whatever. This happened. Everything changed for me. And I know it's going to happen again. But it's just like we got to wait a little bit. And there's all this geopolitical stuff that just screws it up every time. It's a good buying opportunity for sure. So, keep the faith. It will. I know for almost a certain, like 99.99% certainty, it will recover. Just maybe not when we want it to, unless the Japanese reverse carry trade happens. Then we're in business. But if this thing continues following the Bitcoin halving cycle, it could be till like April or May before we start to see it actually start moving up. And even just looking at these gaps, like these are like 2-year-long gaps, right? So June of 2022 all the way to October of 2024, that's basically a 2-year gap where XRP kind of didn't really do much. Same thing from, September of 2018 to October of 2020. I really hate to say it, you guys, but there's a chance 2026 is not our year if we're following the Bitcoin halving cycle. So that's why it's like you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Bitcoin halving cycle, we might be down in 2026, and then we might see like some big recovery by the end of the year. But if the reverse carry trade happens, everything's out. All of this stuff is out the window, and it's almost like starting a new file, like a new file in a video game or something. It's like everything starts over from scratch if this thing happens. So we're keeping an eye on it. We'll figure things out as we go. In the meantime, you just keep buying more. March 10th is Bagpipe Day. I've seen someone else say that. Do you know why March 10th? Is there a specific thing about March 10th that gives us a reason? Oh, you know what? We didn't look at silver at all today. Let's just pop that one open just to get it. But I do want to see what the deal is with the brain farting right now. Oh, March 10th. Yeah. Trading View silver. There you go. Okay, why is it not purple? Where's my purple thing? Here we go. That's good enough. All right, so silver's at $93. That's pretty wild considering, well, I mean, it has nothing's really different from the past week. But, you know, someone said something on a different channel that silver is growing like a meme stock or like a meme coin. And it's like, you know, that's a really good way of putting it. What is really going on here? Well, it's no good for the US dollar. Let's pull up gold. Gold's having the same thing. It looks like it's kind of moving down a little bit, but actually it's had a pretty good rally. So I don't think I looked at gold on yesterday's stream. This kind of stuff, sorry I hit the mic there. This kind of stuff right here just goes to show that the US dollar is falling to shambles before our very eyes. And that's going to be pretty consistent with what we see with the Japanese yen too. I mean, this isn't good stuff for society. You know, you don't necessarily want precious metals just flying upward like they have been. Under normal circumstances, this might be something that scares me, but since all of us are in the XRP, we kind of know where this is going. One last thing, I just want to pull at this thread. I'm going to go to Twitter and we're going to look up this bearable guy photo. And then I'm going to start the closeout. Oh, I got to sign in again. Why is it making me do this, man? This is like the third time this week. Just a second, you guys. Sorry. Shoot. You'd think it would let me stay signed in. You know what I'm saying? What are you can't find my account? What is the matter with this piece of shit? Hold on. All right, this is unbearable. Okay, my Twitter logged me out again. This is the second time this happened this week, and for some reason, it's saying my email is incorrect, even though I know it isn't. I'm gonna try one more thing. If this doesn't work, we'll just move forward with closing the stream out. I know Twitter is a great platform, but man, if there's any platform that gives me trouble on a daily basis, it is Twitter. I don't know why this is such a hard platform to use as a creator, but whatever. Jeez, finally. All right, jeez. I'm calling Elon Musk and being like, yo, man, you guys are ruining my stream by making me log in every time. All right, here we go. Bearable guy. Oh, shoot, which one is he? This one, right? No, this isn't it. What's the official bearable guy Twitter? It should be easy to find. Oh wait, it says I'm already following him. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we're good. So Ben said, or Pat said, one of you guys said, Brad has bagpipes standing on the moon next to him with beer. Oh, is that what that is? Is this right here Brad Garlinghouse? Ah, shoot, this thing is nuts. All right. So wait for me to maximize this image. There we go. So are we to say that this right here is Brad Garlinghouse? He's got the bagpipes. Persevencia. I don't know. You guys got to tell me. I'm just some guy. I don't know. I have a hard time decoding these things. Lots of plumbing and Mario going to need XRP. Now that is a connection right there. So March 10 is Mario Day. And then Mario's going to be doing some plumbing. Get your XRP. He's got a beard and a wedding ring. Brad recently got married. Man, you guys are good at catching this stuff. Oh, okay. You guys are smart. Wait, what is going on in here? Hold on. Am I crazy, or there are two little purple circles inside of this box? Okay, yeah, Ben, you were right there with it. What's going on with these little purple guys? Can I zoom in even further? It looks like there's a T inside. I wonder if that's a stable coin. I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's so like pixelated. Man, this stuff is kind of fun, isn't it? How do I get this thing back to regular size? Okay, there we go. All right, so I guess March 10th is the new date that we're all going to be looking at. Interesting stuff. We'll keep looking at it. Some of this conspiratorial stuff, not sure how to feel about all of it, but this has been a pretty cool one. So I think there was one bookmark I wanted to share before we go. Here we go. Flare added to the ISO 20. What's the best way to say this out loud? ISO 20022 list? Or do I just say each letter out? 20022? I don't know. Anyways, the ISO list right here. Flare's part of it now. That got cracked by King Karen. Thought that was pretty interesting stuff. Trump at the World Economic Forum over there in Davos says that he still wants the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. So that's, good news for us. And then just saw some stuff, Hugo Fillion interacting with some of the comments. I'm not related, by the way. And then just some more stuff about this was a good one. We'll finish off. Let's just finish off with this, and then I'm going to close the stream out because we're actually almost at 1 p.m. So this will be a good final send off.
Complex products, which is why we're building a compute layer and a way for people to deposit their funds on those chains without having to bridge, because not everyone's going to bridge.
If XRP-Fi on Flare succeeds, we're talking about locking up hundreds of millions, even billions of XRP one day. How does this impact the Flare and broader XRP economy as a whole?
So I think I'll start with XRP. I think it's honestly, and this is not financial advice, but if you're using billions, tens of billions of XRP, if tens of billions of units of XRP are getting used on a daily basis, create a yield, are a genuine financial instrument beyond being a digital asset. as in an instrument that it has become financialized and is financially useful beyond the existing use cases.
Yes.
Tell me how that's not insanely bullish for XRP.
Mhm.
I think it is. I'd say that if you had a large amount of XRP being used and you had a genuine market for it, it would be vastly different quality of asset. And that's why we're building what we're building, right? So for me, you ask me how that affects XRP, I think it's insanely bullish. For Flare, if Flare's the platform that's offering that, it can only be good.
I agree.
I think a lot.
We don't have to finish the whole thing, but basically, what I like about this is that Flare and XRP are not competing against each other. Like, they're very complementary. So what's good for XRP is good for Flare, and what's good for Flare is good for XRP. That's why whenever I'm buying XRP, I try to buy a little bit of Flare as well, because it's the one case where I really do see both of them moving side by side. It's kind of why I did that video where like XRP is Luke Skywalker and Flare is R2D2. I'm going to start closing things out. Dean is in the chat. We're going to start working on getting a Shopify site built out. It's still a whole bunch of stuff that I'm working on at the same time. So sorry, Dean, that we've been moving so slow on this, but we'll get a Shopify built out that's going to be like a merch store, so you'll be able to get hats. That's where if you wanted something like this, a barrel lid of your own, or if you wanted one of these custom XRP coins that I've got, these came from Dean. Let me see if I can get this thing in focus. Maybe it's upside down. Well, in any case, we'll work on getting something like this synced up. In the meantime, you could just go directly to his site if you wanted something like this. No reason you couldn't. It's ppclaser.com. I think my camera is blocking it a little bit today. You can see it right there. We'll get that Shopify worked out. I think I'm going to try to work that out this weekend. Unfortunately, Shopify makes you pay to play, so that's why I've been kind of kicking that can down the road. But I might just bite the bullet, sign up for it this weekend, see how that works out, and then Dean and I can kind of build out a custom merch store just to get some fun XRP things. We're working on hats, maybe making out some coasters. Those would be like evergreen merch items, and then we'll probably eventually start working on like some custom like monthly drops or giveaways, stuff like that. So gonna start wrapping this up. I appreciate all of you guys that have joined, whether you've been here since the start or if you're joining on your lunch break, however you guys are doing it. I'm gonna wrap this up here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got that call later tonight with the brokerage, so it's kind of a new territory for me. We'll see what comes from that, and one way or another, I'll have plenty for us to cover tomorrow. So I appreciate everyone for hopping in, and then we'll be back here bright and early at 11. Hopefully it's snowing less tomorrow. Not that it matters for streaming, but in any case, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.